Ladies and gentlemen, as we move through life, one of the most valuable treasures we possess is our inner peace. It becomes even more precious as we age, because with time we come to realize that peace is far more important than possessions, status, or applause. Yet there are people, sometimes even those we have known for decades, who unknowingly or deliberately disturb that peace. Among the most damaging of these are the ones I call the negative energy givers. They are the constant complainers, the habitual critics, the individuals who find a dark cloud in every sunny day. These are the people who, no matter what you share with them, will find a way to diminish it. You tell them you've been feeling healthy, and they will remind you of a neighbor who fell sick unexpectedly. You share a dream you've been nurturing, and they will list every reason it's unrealistic. Their outlook is not just glass half empty. It's as if they believed the glass was doomed to crack in the first place. At first, it may seem like they are simply being practical or cautious. But over time, you begin to notice how your mood sinks after spending time with them. That's because negative energy is contagious. It seeps into your thoughts, it colors your perception, and it makes you doubt your own joy. As we age, our emotional resilience may not be the same as when we were younger. We may not have the patience to battle constant waves of pessimism or criticism. Life teaches us many lessons, and one of the most important is this: you cannot always control what comes into your life, but you can choose what you allow to stay. If someone consistently leaves you feeling drained, anxious, or discouraged, you have to ask yourself, what is this connection costing me? Now, some of these negative energy givers are easy to spot. They are openly cynical, loud in their complaints, and quick to point fingers. But others are more subtle. They may smile at you while planting seeds of doubt. They might wrap their criticism in what sounds like concern. I'm only saying this for your own good. Yet their words erode your confidence. And because they might be close friends or even family, it becomes harder to recognize the damage they are causing. You excuse their behavior, telling yourself, that's just how they are, without realizing the toll it's taking on you. In old age, our time is more valuable than ever. Every day we spend should be filled with gratitude, learning, and connection that uplifts us. That means being deliberate about the voices we allow into our space. If someone constantly delivers negativity, you have the right to create boundaries. That might mean limiting the frequency of your interactions, changing the subject when conversations turn dark, or even distancing yourself entirely if necessary. Protecting your peace is not selfish, it is essential. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, joy is a fragile flame. It burns brighter when surrounded by warmth and encouragement, but it can be easily dimmed by the cold winds of constant negativity. The negative energy givers will always exist, but you have the power to decide how close they get to your light. Choose wisely, and you will preserve not just your happiness, but the very quality of your life in your later years. Ladies and gentlemen, as we grow older, one of the hard realities we come to face is that trust, though precious, can also become a doorway for exploitation. Among the most harmful people to have in your circle in later years are the financial exploiters. These are individuals, sometimes strangers, sometimes acquaintances, and tragically, sometimes even members of your own family who see your kindness and trust not as virtues to respect, but as weaknesses to take advantage of. Financial exploiters can appear in many forms. They might be the ones who constantly borrow money with heartfelt promises to repay, but never follow through. They may try to convince you to invest in risky ventures, presenting them as sure things, when in reality they are only sure to benefit themselves. Others may attempt to gain control over your assets, your property, or even your bank account under the guise of helping you manage your affairs. In each case, the common thread is this: they see your financial stability not as yours to enjoy in your later years, but as an opportunity for their own gain. One of the most painful parts of dealing with financial exploiters is the emotional conflict it creates. If the person is a stranger, it's easier to cut ties. But when the manipulator is a relative or a lifelong friend, the situation becomes far more complicated. The heart wants to believe the best in those we love. We may convince ourselves that they are just going through a rough patch, that they truly intend to return what they've borrowed, or that helping them is the right thing to do. But repeated patterns of broken promises and manipulative requests are a clear sign that you are not being respected. You are being used. It is important to understand that financial exploitation is not just about the loss of money. It is about the erosion of trust. In old age, your resources, both financial and emotional, are meant to provide you with comfort, security, and peace. When someone repeatedly takes from you without care or conscience, they are not only reducing your ability to meet your needs, they are stripping away the security you have worked for your entire life. This kind of stress can weigh heavily on your mind, affecting your health and overall happiness. Setting boundaries is crucial. This may mean learning to say no, even when it feels uncomfortable. Refusing to sign documents without fully understanding them, and ensuring your financial matters are handled transparently, preferably with professional advice from someone you trust. It might also mean having difficult conversations with family members, making it clear that while you value relationships, you will not allow them to be built on the foundation of financial dependency or deceit. Remember, your financial resources are not just numbers in an account. They represent the years of effort, sacrifice, and discipline you have invested in building your life. You have every right to protect them fiercely, just as you would protect your health or your dignity. The truth is, a person who truly cares for you will never put you in a position where you feel pressured to give away what you need to live comfortably. Ladies and gentlemen, the unfortunate reality is that financial exploiters will always exist, and they often disguise themselves as the people you'd least expect. The best defense is awareness, boundaries, and the courage to guard what you have worked for. In the final chapters of life, your money should serve your peace of mind, not someone else's careless desires. Ladies and gentlemen, as the years pass, one truth becomes increasingly clear. Our freedom to make our own choices is one of the most precious gifts we possess. Yet, there are those who will try to take that gift from us, not by force, but through manipulation. These individuals, The manipulators are skilled at twisting your emotions, bending your will, and steering your decisions in directions that serve their interests rather than your own. They may come disguised as concerned friends, caring relatives, or even trusted advisors, but behind their words lies a hidden agenda. Manipulators do not always shout or demand. In fact, many of them work quietly, using subtle forms of emotional influence. They might play the role of the victim to gain your sympathy, making you feel guilty if you don't comply with their requests. They may plant seeds of fear, warning you about imagined dangers if you don't follow their advice. Or they may shower you with flattery when they need something, only to disappear once their needs are met. The danger of manipulators is that they can make you believe that their desires are somehow your responsibility. In old age, manipulation can take a particularly harmful form. A manipulative person might push you to change your will, to sign over property, or to make decisions about your health and finances that benefit them far more than they benefit you. They may frame their interference as help or guidance, but the result is the same. You end up living by someone else's plans instead of your own. This can rob you not only of your independence, but also of your sense of self-worth. One of the challenges in dealing with manipulators is that they often know you well. They understand your emotions, your history, and your values, and they use that knowledge to their advantage. If they know you dislike conflict, they may pressure you in moments when you're least likely to resist. If they know you care deeply about family harmony, they may suggest that saying no would make you seem selfish or ungrateful. Over time, this constant manipulation can make you doubt your own judgment, leaving you more vulnerable to further control. The key to protecting yourself is awareness. The moment you notice that someone's words or actions are consistently leaving you feeling pressured, guilty, or trapped, it's time to step back and evaluate the relationship. Ask yourself, am I making this choice because I truly believe it's right for me, or because someone has made me feel like I have no other option? The answer to that question can reveal whether you are exercising your independence or surrendering it to manipulation. Setting boundaries with manipulators requires courage, but it is essential for your well-being. You may need to limit the personal information you share with them, or refuse to engage in conversations that are clearly leading toward pressure. In some cases, you might even need to distance yourself entirely from those who cannot respect your autonomy. Remember, healthy relationships are built on mutual respect, not control. Ladies and gentlemen, your later years should be a time of freedom. Freedom to live according to your values, to make choices that bring you peace, and to spend your time in ways that truly matter to you. Do not let manipulators steal that from you. Guard your independence as fiercely as you guard your health, for once it is lost, it is difficult to reclaim. And always remember, someone who genuinely cares for you will never need to twist your emotions to get their way. Ladies and gentlemen, as we step into the later chapters of life, we begin to realize that time is our most precious possession. Unlike money, health, or possessions, once time is spent, it can never be regained. This is why one of the greatest threats to our happiness in old age comes from those I call the time and energy wasters. These are individuals who, intentionally or not, consume your days with meaningless distractions, unproductive conversations, and unnecessary drama, leaving you mentally drained and emotionally unfulfilled. Time and energy wasters come in many forms. Some are chronic gossipers, constantly pulling you into conversations about other people's lives, conversations that bring no real value and often stir up negativity. Others are perpetually in crisis, always calling you in the middle of your day to unload their problems, yet rarely taking steps to solve them. Some will invite you into activities or arguments that drain your spirit, knowing well that these engagements do nothing to enhance your well-being. What they all have in common is this: they take far more from your life than they give back. As we grow older, our energy is not as limitless as it once was. We must be selective about where we invest it. Every moment spent entertaining someone's drama is a moment stolen from your peace, your rest, or your pursuit of something meaningful. The danger is that these time and energy wasters rarely see the harm they cause. They may genuinely believe they are just keeping you company, involving you in their lives, or staying connected. But connection without purpose can easily become a trap, keeping you from living the life you've worked so hard to build. The challenge is that many of these people can be lifelong acquaintances, neighbors, or even family members. Because of this, you may feel obligated to give them your time, even when you know it is being misused. You may tell yourself, "I don't want to hurt their feelings," or "I'll just listen this one time," only to find yourself trapped in the same exhausting cycle again and again. Over time, this cycle can quietly rob you of joy and diminish the quality of your days. The solution lies in learning the art of gentle boundaries. You don't have to be rude or cold, but you do have to be clear. You can politely excuse yourself from a conversation that has turned to gossip. You can say, "I'm sorry, I don't have the energy for this right now," when someone calls to unload unnecessary drama. You can choose to spend more time with people who inspire you, make you laugh, and encourage you to grow, instead of those who drain you. This is not selfish, it is self-care. Another important step is to fill your time intentionally. When your days are occupied with activities you love, reading, walking, learning new skills, or enjoying the company of uplifting people, you naturally have less space for meaningless distractions. The more you value your own time, the less tolerance you will have for those who waste it. Ladies and gentlemen, the truth is simple: in the later stages of life, every day is a gift and every moment is an opportunity. Time and energy wasters will always exist, but you have the power to decide how much of your precious life you give to them. Protect your hours as you would guard your treasure, because that is exactly what they are. And remember, the people who truly love and respect you will never take your time for granted. They will cherish it as much as you do. Ladies and gentlemen, as we have reflected on these different types of people, the negative energy givers, the financial exploiters, the manipulators, and the time and energy wasters, it becomes clear that protecting our peace in later years is not just a desire, it is a responsibility. Life has given us too many lessons, too many hard-earned victories, and too much wisdom to allow it all to be diminished by those who do not value our well-being. Avoiding harmful influences does not mean shutting the world out. It means opening the door only to those who bring light, respect, and sincerity into our lives. It means recognizing that not every voice deserves our attention. Not every request deserves our energy, and not every relationship deserves unlimited access to our heart. In old age, the greatest treasures we can hold are peace of mind, independence, and the freedom to live on our own terms. Protect them fiercely. Be discerning about who you allow into your inner circle, and remember that your time, energy, and resources are yours to use in ways that enrich your life, not deplete it. So as you walk forward from today, carry this truth with you. You cannot control the presence of such people in the world, but you can control the distance you keep from them. Choose wisely, live peacefully, and honor the beautiful life you have worked so hard to create. Your later years should not be a season of survival, but a season of fulfillment, joy, and dignity. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the life you truly deserve.